A taboo no more, a new era for skincare, femcare, excuse me.
Hey, hi everyone. Thank you everyone who is listening. Thank you all so much for being here to be a part of this really important conversation. I just want to start off by giving everyone the opportunity to quickly introduce yourselves, just in a couple sentences. And then also, if you could give kind of a 1 to 2 sentence example of a time in your career that you realized that Femcare was in fact stigmatized and needed a new narrative.
Sure. So hi, everybody. My name is Yanghee Paik. I am the CEO, co-founder of Rael. Rael is a holistic cycle care brand that started as an organic period care company, and then we're evolving to be a holistic wellness brand by expanding to feminine hygiene and skincare and also supplements. The moment that I felt in my career, the stigma, I would say when we first went out to investors, VC investors, to pitch our idea of doing organic feminine care. I remember that a lot of male VC investors were very uncomfortable when we started talking about our period experience, showing the pads. We asked them to touch it, feel it, and then everybody was blushing and then embarrassed, and I felt like we needed to do something to change that.
Absolutely.
I'm Sally Mueller, co-founder and CEO of Womaness. Womaness is modernizing aging with a particular focus on perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. And we sell supplements, sexual wellness products, and skin and body. We're really a total solution to menopause. I would say menopause is like one of the last taboos standing. And much like your experience when we were pitching investors, we showed this slide of the Golden Girls and said, this is what you think menopause is. And then the next page was like all these gorgeous women, much like all of you, that are like the face of menopause today. They're in their 40s, their 50s, and they are not old and tired. So they are doing amazing things.
I love that so much. I remember seeing this and I thought it was so beautiful and wonderful to see that angle on it, because all we ever see mainstream is the complete opposite and the Golden Girls, so bravo.
I am Olivia Khoury, and I am the co-founder and co-CEO of Hummingway, and our lovely moderator Ashley is my co-founder. Ashley and I launched Hummingway out of the sheer frustration of the lack of research around women's health and the limited options available to us. We started asking ourselves these questions like, why is period pain the #1 reason birth control is prescribed, and why, when we still walk through most Femcare aisles, is Midol mostly the only option available? And Midol was originally a drug for hiccups. So Ashley and I have been on this mission determined to focus on our symptoms and discover the root cause.
Awesome. And then is there a time that you realized that there was a huge stigma around?
Well, yeah, when those questions weren't answered. We realized that we had to do something about it, and we decided to make the first non-toxic period solution for period pain other than Midol. And so I think it was just realizing the lack of research and realizing the limited options that really inspired us and to do something about it.
Amazing. Okay, let's jump back over to menopause. I love that you're offering a wide variety of products for women in that phase of their life. This is often something that is not a part of the mainstream conversation. So what made you decide to focus on that demographic? And do you feel like the conversation has changed since you have entered the room? And if so, how?
Well, Womaness really came about because of my own personal menopause story. I was in my late 40s. I was definitely aware that I was going through a lot of changes, erratic periods, and all sorts of issues. But I had no idea that menopause is more than hot flashes. And so many women really don't realize either. So there's over 40 symptoms of menopause. So I finally went to the doctor, and the doctor was very knowledgeable about menopause, which is rare. Most doctors are not trained in menopause. So most doctors can't even give good information, good advice to their patients because they really lack the training in med school and residency. But this particular doctor was incredible, and she said, you're not alone. You have, all the variety of symptoms that a lot of women have that I see on a daily basis. But at the end of the appointment, she gave me a list of products to buy, and that's when I really had my aha moment that, wow, these products haven't been reinvented in decades. Much like the Midol comparison, it was just like a sad selection of products. But I knew she picked the best that was out there. So that was my moment of thinking, wow, I've got to disrupt the space.
Amazing. Well, we're very glad that you did. Let's talk about one of the positives in this space. I think there's been a lot of innovation. There's been a lot of technology that is now helping us kind of move forward and explode this space. And so if you guys, this is open to all the panelists, can explain an example of how technology has helped you develop new products or perhaps helped you break down barriers in this space.
Just to start with the kind of like the origin story of our brand. The company was founded by 3 Korean American women who wanted to bring more organic, natural alternative to feminine care. But then another thing that my co-founders and I had in common and then talked about was what about the cutting-edge technology from Korea that makes the products very high-performing and effective. So it's interesting because one of the things that we noticed right after we moved to the US from Korea, like 15 years ago, was the lack of high-quality, high-performing feminine care products. So just like K-beauty, Korean manufacturing technology in feminine care is a lot more advanced. So the products designed and manufactured in Korea just made it very, very comfortable and high-performing. So we use that technology to bring organic, natural feminine care that works really well, that is super comfortable. And when we launched 7 years ago, we got a lot of compliments and good reviews saying that, oh, I don't have to sacrifice performance and comfort while choosing a healthy option. So that was one of the reasons why our pads have been very popular and then loved by our consumers. And I believe that there was something about the manufacturing technology that made it very differentiated.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say technology's really helped us build a community. It's a really, at the heart of Womaness. It's not just about product, it's about education and community, because so many women have been suffering in silence. And so we have a private Facebook group called the After Party. We obviously have an email list that's about 175,000 women strong. So, and of course, social following, but we really cultivate that community one woman at a time is our philosophy. So technology's really helped, I think, women feel like they can go to Womaness to get the right information.
Yeah, similar to us, we knew that we couldn't just be a product. We knew that we had to provide education. So for example, when you go on our Hummingway.com, it's not just a place to shop, it's a place to learn. We have a cycle check-in quiz that you can do daily and figure out where you're at in your cycle. Are you luteal? Are you follicular? And then based off your results, we have our doctors, we have an email sent to you with advice and tips on how to check in within your body and feel better in your body. And I think, Ashley and I didn't have AI, ChatGPT. We couldn't type in a revolutionary period product. So we had to do it the old school way, and we went through, 2 years of R&D and created a medical board of doctors and went through 32 different iterations just to come up with the cycle soother. So we put a lot of work into it, but we're really excited to actually implement the future technology and create a more personalized experience for menstruators.
Amazing. Okay, Yanghee, I'm going to go over to you. Let's talk about some of the biggest myths and misconceptions that you've faced when entering into this category and what your brands have done to challenge and change those myths.
Yeah, so one of the misconceptions about period, I would say, is that a lot of women think that period is painful, something negative, you hate your period, you hate the time of the month. So what we wanted to really change was the perception that, actually as a woman, we have to consider period being blessing. It's a celebration. It means that we're healthy, getting a regular period is really something that you have to really love and then appreciate. So we're trying, trying to change the perception that it's something that we have to be positive about and love. And we've been doing that a lot on TikTok. So if you go to our TikTok, then we have a lot of content about period, and we're openly talking about it, openly talking about different flows, different colors of the blood. And then we're not afraid of using red liquid to show the blood on pad. So we're also have been really showing kind of like a raw visuals of period and how that works. And people have been loving that. And a funny story is one of the most popular content that went viral was about period poops too. So it's something that, you know.
That's a thing.
I think a lot of women can relate to the story, but we're afraid of like talking about it publicly. But we are not as a brand. You know, we want to actually come up with content that everybody can relate to, and then feel that, you know, periods are natural. Everybody's going through the same thing, and then we just have, you know, some ways of making it less comfortable. So that's what we've been focusing on.
I love that so much. This is something that Olivia and I talk about all the time. It actually feeds into a question that I was going to ask you, Olivia, about the power of social media, because I feel like it does get a bad rep sometimes, but I think in our space particularly, it can be a really beautiful thing, because the more that we're open about these things, the more we talk about these things, we can help kind of shed light on what's real, what's normal, what's a beautiful part of being a woman. So if you could kind of shed some light on how you've found a way to kind of break down barriers for Hummingway, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for social media, I don't think that Hummingway would have the community that we have today. And we've had so many women share their stories with us and DM us with the testimonials about our life-changing product. And it's been social media that's allowed us to connect with our customer on such a deeper, more personal level, which I think is so important for Femcare, because we have been ignored for so long. And when Ashley and I started sharing our stories on our own social media platforms, I was diagnosed with premenstrual dysphoric disorder. I didn't know anything about it. I practically learned about it on TikTok. And when Ashley started sharing her story about coming off hormonal birth control, it was like the floodgates opened, and we had hundreds of women reach out to us and want to relate and want to share their story, which is why we even started a series called Cycle Stories, and we share women's stories on our platforms. And Hummingway really wants to be a platform where we amplify women's voices, because I think so many women are turning to social media for the answers, because they're not getting listened to in their doctor's office. And so they're turning to brands, and they're turning to TikTok. And yes, it can be dangerous, but that's why you have companies like ours that have medical boards and have fact-checked information, and making sure that we're just supplying women with the knowledge that they need to really get in front of their own health. And I think it's just been so amazing for all of us Femcare brands to also band together and break down the stigma around menstrual health, where we're not competitors, we're all team players. And I think the space has been ignored for so long, so we're excited to be at the forefront of it.
Yeah, definitely. I think this kind of feeds into that as well. Like, it is obviously really critical and crucial that we educate people, that we raise our voices up together to break down these barriers. But it is really challenging sometimes, and sometimes there's a lot of barrier to entry. And so this is open to everyone. I'm curious, I know social media is certainly one of them, but ways that you found that you can educate and empower your communities.
Well, we've done a lot of in real life events, much like this, and just women love to get together. We always have like a really cool cocktail, like the hot flash margarita, or just, you know, different things. But also we bring on a medical panel usually to really educate women. But they leave so inspired and so excited, and even the younger generations are very excited. We had a menopositivity tour with Ulta Beauty last year that was really fun, and we brought experts and went on kind of a road show. So I think that has been one key way to bring women together and get women to feel comfortable opening up this conversation.
In addition to the education that we're doing around period and self-care around, you know, menstrual, I would say what we've been focused on is educating consumers and also influencers on holistic cycle care. So what Rael has done is, you know, in the early days, we focused on that 1 week of the cycle when women are bleeding, but then we wanted to really provide solutions that, you know, work throughout the 4 weeks of the cycle. So, you know, we have the menstrual cycle, and there's a follicular cycle, ovulation, and then luteal cycle. And we have products, you know, that are made with clean ingredients throughout the 4 weeks of the cycle. So in order to tell the story, you know, we've been educating influencers to talk about, you know, cycle syncing, you know, different kinds of products they can use, and then different symptoms, you know, women go through, and then different like kind of like self-care routines or even products they can use. So I think that holistic cycle care storytelling has been very helpful in terms of educating everyone. And I've seen a lot of of TikTok influencers and then, consumers talking about it, which has been also very helpful for our brand.
Yeah, just very similar to everyone up here. When Ashley and I started doing our own research, we were so shocked by how little that we knew about our bodies, and it was this realization that made us commit to the fact that we were going to make education a pillar to our company, and that's why we invested heavily in educational content. We have an educational newsletter called The Regular that you can sign up for that we work with our scientific lead on. We also, we're doing out-of-home campaigns. We had paste ups on billboards all over New York City that said menstruators haven't been included in clinical trials up until 1993. Let's patch up your relationship with period pain. So this is more than just products. Like, we're part of a revolution. We're part of a movement. And later on, beyond just education, Hummingway, because in order for us to stay educated, we need the research. So we really are excited to kind of further that and be part of the research in the future as well.
Yeah, I think it's so wonderful that everyone seems to collectively be kind of pushing forward towards the same thing, because to your point, Olivia, there's just not a ton of research, and there's so much legwork that we're having to do to give people the answers that they need. And I feel like with all of our companies, as soon as you launch them and people feel that they can trust you and know that you actually really care, they want information so badly, and these floodgates open. And so I just want to say bravo to everyone for putting the work in and being kind of a beacon of light for so many people, because it's really important, and it is not supposed to be a curse. What we do is a really beautiful thing, and we create life, and what we go through gives us so much information about our bodies. And I think with that information, it's extremely powerful, and it's just letting people know that. So thank you so much, ladies, for being here, educating our audience. I don't know if you guys have any questions, but that's it from us. Yes? Oh, right here. Did you have a question with the heart? Yeah, okay.
Do you want a mic? No, it's okay. It's fine. So we all know that PCOS is trending big time on TikTok. I also have PCOS, so I was wondering if any of you ladies are going to create more PCOS-friendly products. Is that down the pipeline? What does that look like for you guys as brands?
We actually have a supplement that we launched for PCOS and hormone imbalance. That is called Hormone Balance. And there's an ingredient called inositol, which is pretty well known. A lot of OBG doctors recommend inositol supplements, to those women with PCOS. So I highly recommend that, and check us out for that.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of people that use our product. We do just have one product, it's as of right now, and it's a cycle soother patch, and it's designed for inflammation in the body. So we've actually had a lot of people with endometriosis use the product, and then we have a friend of ours that's an athlete, and PCOS is a lot more common amongst athletes, and she uses our product. We can't claim that it helps with PCOS, but it is in the gift bag, so I would suggest trying it, and it might be able to help you just feel better in your body. But hopefully we'll continue to research and do some things down the line.
Thank you so much for your question. Anyone else before we wrap up? All right, well, amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here and listening to the conversation. Thank you, ladies, so much.